The boy's father receives the news about his son.
I went through this with my own son last summer, so I know how scary it is for you, and I totally can empathise.
A member of the public directs Kaylin to a boy who has been dumped on his head in the surf.
Well, it's just sort of aching now, but if I move anything, it just sort of sharpens.
Does it? Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
I'm going to back it up, Jackson, and get a spinal bed down here.
Yeah, copy. Did you copy that south buggy?
Oh, we're on our way, thanks, I go.
Yeah, Casey, we'll obviously call an ambulance then if you're going to treat it as a spinal.
Yeah, we just had a report of a young kid being concussed in the flags, and now they're treating it as a spinal.
When we arrived, we saw a young boy of about 10 or 11 years old, and, you know, he was quite obviously in distress.
Buddy, how are you? Don't move at all. Keep your head nice and straight. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and roll.
At the core of our spinal treatment with any patient down here at Bondi is immobilisation and stabilisation.
1, 2, 3, rolling back on the board. Nice. This is just going to keep your head nice and snug, all right? So you can't move.
We want to immobilise the patient. We mean to not move the patient and keep them packaged so they can't move at all. The difference of millimetres can make an impact on the person's whole rest of the quality of their life.
The boy's father receives the news about his son.
Hey, how are you?
The father, you know, he was looking at me and he had a tear in his eye, and I had this massive flashback to when this happened to my son.
I thought something had happened to his neck, and then he got up and he was feeling his back.
His head would have folded when he hit. So he hit you pretty hard, did he? Yeah.
It was almost exactly the same time, exactly the same place on the beach, at exactly the same time in the afternoon. You know, the parallels are uncanny.
I went through this with my own son last summer, so I know how scary it is for you, and I totally can empathise. Paramedics, how you going? All right. This is Dad here.
Hi, Dad. How are you doing? I'm good. Hey, what have we got here? Sean. What happened today? I hit bloody.
Once the paramedics arrived, the decision was made that we need to move the patient up to the waiting ambulance. You've got to be so careful when moving any patient. Millimetres make the difference, and so, you know, the whole art of that is, you know, being really delicate and slow and really just getting it right.
Now 3, 2, 1.
So the father and son go off to hospital for further scans and treatment. In my own experience and what I went through with that situation, my son was diagnosed with spinal bruising with no permanent effects or long-lasting damage, and I can only hope that the same outcome happens to this father and son.
After a full assessment in hospital, the boy was treated and suffered no permanent injury. Late afternoon, and an incident is unfolding on the shoreline. Volunteer lifesavers signal the tower for assistance.
One of the patrol members in the red and yellow started waving their hand, so Hoppo and Tyson ran down, and looks like they've taken over the situation.
Just moments earlier, 17-year-old Huey was diving under waves.
Saw a man waving his hand, so we all ran over, and he just wasn't moving. He said he'd dived into a sandbank and went head first. He was in a lot of pain.
Diving in shallow water is one of the major causes of serious spinal injuries in Australia.
Once we roll in, just whack it up underneath. When we got there, we realised that he had pain just below his neck, sort of between his shoulder blades, and so we treated it as a spinal.
For 24-year-old new recruit Tyson, this is a rare chance to work alongside his boss, Hoppo.
All right, it's all on Tyson's pull. That's it. So I'm going to go on 3, all right? All right, mate. 1, 2, 3, roll.
Could be possibly a suspected spinal. I took control of the head with the manual inline support.
The same for you again. All right, guys, on the way back. So roll nice and easily. You need to keep them as still as possible, and we were telling him not to move anything, just speak to us when you're answering the questions, because any movement, if it is fractured, It could be like a fractured bone that's like a razor blade, and any wrong movement could then slice the cord, and he could end up a paraplegic or a quadriplegic, very, very easily.
So Pop's going to come around now with the therapy oxygen. I just stayed on the head, and I felt really comfortable, just having control of that. Get you breathing a lot better, and you'll start feeling a lot better as well with that. Try to relax the whole body and just not move at all. It's the best way.
Huey came to the beach alone before meeting two British travellers, Brandon and Lewis.
He's just jumped in and the wave's gone over him straight into the sand,
It's hard to judge like a day like today as well.
When the paramedics came down, Tyson was in control. They realised that he had the skill, which was good to see.
He'd had a bit of an accident today.
Yeah.
I think these guys have done an amazing job. We're going to keep you nice and stable here. We will just pop a collar on you.
Huey's family are notified about the incident.
It is pretty bad.
Yeah?
I literally just met him.
We get in position now. So 1, 2, 3, lift. That's it.
I've got to give Tyson a rap. He was very good. I was overseeing it all, but he took the head. He never let go of that. It was all in his core when we're rolling the patient. It was, very well done.
Obviously, in that situation, he urgently needed help, and just tried my best and just tried to give my all.
Right, take care of yourself.
After undergoing scans in hospital, Huey was released with a clean bill of health.